Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 157 of the Y'all Can Hear podcast. I'll be your host today, Patrick. And joining me today are my three commemorative co-hosts.
It is Jonathan again.
I'm Nightcore, Never Shout Never Colt, here to talk to you today for the first time in a month or two. It's been too long.
Hello, it's me, Wenzel.
Not even Nightcore Wenzel?
Nah.
Not just regular Wenzel.
But I do have a thought I said I wanted to share. You know how, like, there's that common and kind of dumb trope in, like, movies or shows where, like, I was like, what if you got magically turned into a woman, right? What would you do? And they usually say, like, oh, I'd play with my boobs or something. Well, you know what? If I had a choice of playing with my boobs or getting an extra set of balls, I'd get an extra set of balls.
What the fuck? Where'd this come from? What's happening?
I was thinking about that.
It's bad. It's bad when Colt is saying, what the fuck?
It's like, I don't know. I was thinking about it.
Did I skip like a whole paragraph you said before that?
No, I was literally thinking.
I swear to God, I jumped dimensions because what you said did not make a goddamn lick of sense.
This is what happens when he's gone for a whole month. He just has time to sit and ruminate in his head all the things he shouldn't say.
And I talk to him almost weekly. I talk to him on a period like every single day for like the last month. I don't know what the hell happened.
Because the thing is, I was waiting for him to say something just like off the wall, which he did, but I was more expecting like how many times he masturbated to the rabbit girl from My Hero or something.
Okay, let's get this one thing straight. Okay, her name is Mirko. Okay, from My Hero Academia, her name is Mirko. She's wonderful, and I would never do such a despicable act to such a beautiful, strong woman.
Okay, the thing is, Wenzel, we have a built-in lie detector on our Discord channel. And that thing's breaking the charts right now.
All right, you got me. But no, don't get me started on.
Let's just say I'm locked in a cage of horny emotions. And I don't know why.
Do not get me started on how much I love Mirko. Besides the fact that she's absolutely gorgeous and buff, she's actually a really great character, and I can't say anything more because that would be spoilers. But anyway, let me get back to my original point. I was thinking, people talk about how, like, if they were a woman, they would play with their boobs. No, give me an extra set of balls and I'll play with that.
Why? Do you even play with the ones you got?
Ball fondlers, man.
Let me just say, I don't even touch them daily.
Ball fondlers. That's my answer.
I think Wenzel's been reading too much JoJo Part 8.
That's my answer. Ball fondlers.
Alright, I get it.
What the fuck ever.
How do we even go on from there, huh?
We might as well just stop now.
Because I was going to ask y'all what have y'all been up to during quarantine over the last month, but now I'm not sure I really want to find out.
It's just constant masturbation. That's all it is. Jesus Christ. Just come fucking everywhere.
No,
well, you know, Pornhub did a free 30-day trial, so.
You know, God bless the internet, and God bless me not getting that fucking stimulus check. Man, if I had that stimulus check, let's just say I'd have a $1,200 statement to OnlyFans.
Wait, would you donate $1,200 to one particular OnlyFan or to 1,200 different OnlyFans?
I don't know.
Yeah!
If I had it, man, it would happen.
Why the fuck did you not get a stimulus check?
Because I was claimed, man. I'm a child, apparently.
Which doesn't make any sense because he pays his own tax. Like, he pays taxes, but, like, the thing...
Yeah, like, he pays income tax.
The thing is, like, he was claimed as a dependent, but, like, man, I don't know. There's just some, like, the stimulus check, just the whole... that.
Did your mom get, like, an extra fucking...
No.
She didn't, which is also weird. Just the whole...
That's fucking
the whole
bullshit.
thing in general is just really fucky and stupid. Like, it's $1,200 sounds nice, but, like, doesn't cover everything, and also there's just too many fucking gaps, or too many people that are just forgotten or left behind, and it's just...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, and the thing is like, here in Alabama, that $1,200 can go
a long
pretty
way.
far.
Like I said, $1,200.
But like, if you live in fucking New York, that doesn't even cover your fucking.
Oh no!
rent.
If you live in like even if you live in like LA or just anywhere with these high rents or like like
And then just high cost of living in general.
Yeah, and even where we live, like in Alabama, has like some of the highest fucking rent in the state. So,
or at least just a particular spot where we live.
I remember.
Fucking
one woman on Twitter was talking about how the stimulus check would be able to pay for 1 month rent, and That's it. And then the money that should have left over would be enough for a Starbucks coffee, which is like $5.
Jesus
And
Christ.
she lives in LA.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is too is most of us are kind of laid off. Like I'm lucky that I still have my job for now.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I might have to go back to work, during one of the worst modern things.
Man,
nothing. We shouldn't be talking about this. Is very depressing.
No. Let's talk about it. Like, it doesn't have to be sad, but like,
The world is coming to an end.
Like we haven't been on the podcast for a while, and like there's just stuff that like I know me and Colt have talked about together. We've kind of like vented to each other, but it's like we'll get into happier stuff later because we have been keeping ourselves occupied. But while because of these things that keep us occupied, because of the fact that we're living during a pandemic, and it's like I still have a final I have a final exam that I need to do. It's an essay, and then I have to do a painting for my painting class, and that's it. And it's due next week. And let me tell you, this semester has sucked, and I have not wanted to do bum fucking shit because how can I do schoolwork during something like this where we have to stay at home and like we have to try to make ourselves not go crazy because we just want to do stuff, relax, and not be worried of all the shit that's going on outside. And like it sucks. It's bumming me. It's more than bumming me out. It's making me really sad because all this stupid online work and having to worry about that and have to worry about, not just rotting. Oh my god.
Yeah, I completely understand. Like, it was like a week or two ago, I kind of had this like mental breakdown just with the culmination of everything.
Like,
just because.
Yeah. So,
and like I've really have stopped like paying attention to the news. Like I'm paying enough attention to be informed, but like my dad in particular, he is just like fucking glued to CNN 24/7, and I don't see how he doesn't blow his brains out. It's so depressing.
I completely understand that.
And I mean, he's becoming fucking unbearable because of it too. So it's like
because he's just getting like a constant stream of just like information, and a lot of it's just negative, and that's sort of like buzzing and burning through his head. So he's got to get it out. So he runs to you and is like, oh, blah blah blah, doom and gloom, and like you're already processing all your bullshit, trying to keep it together, and then you're just getting someone else's, I guess, valid need to like, exercise themselves. And then sort of like, but you can't help but take in all the stuff they say that's concerning them, that concerns you. It's just this weird negativity feedback loop. So like, how do you sort of balance keeping yourself informed, juggling your own sort of thoughts, feelings, and neuroses on top of the general just unease that's going on right now?
Yeah, and like I've been like staying off of Twitter and Facebook as much as I can.
That's
and usually when I get,
you're doing a good thing because. All I see on Twitter is not just from the pandemic stuff. It's just like people are finding stuff to be angry at, and it's
a shit show.
So tiring.
It's a shit show.
It is, and like even my Twitter like timeline is actually pretty tame compared to most people. But yeah, like even then, it's just like fuck. And anytime like I post anything, it's mostly like on Facebook. I'm just like, here are some cats. Here's some like eye bleach.
Hell yeah.
And I don't like advertise that, but like at the same time, it's like, if I can just make someone like smile or feel any sort of better during this, I mean, I feel like that's doing some good.
Yeah, no, I feel you because like on my Twitter, I usually retweet bits or like art or stuff like, and then occasionally I'll see like, I might like occasionally like retweet like something that really resonates me. It could be like a rant or some like, I don't know, some statement or something. I go through so much shit that I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ. And like, and now like with the pandemic, it's just like, it's insane how stupid and ridiculous people are. Like, and speaking, and my dad, before this was actually like glued to the TV like with news, and oh my god, he watches Fox News and it's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, like at least I can't complain because my dad's like fairly left leaning.
Yeah,
but I could not imagine being there with your dad right now.
Like, and he's glued to it, and he'd always talk about I need to stop watching the news, but then he watches Fox News and he gets angry. It's just this constant cycle, like Pat said, and But now, but as of recently, he's actually he's just been watching just nothing but movies and stuff to keep himself occupied. Because he's my dad has diabetes and he's old, so like he's more at risk. So he goes out very little, and I mean he went out very little anyway because he doesn't have a job, he's retired. But now like he can't go out at all, or if he does, he has to
Yeah.
mask up,
Be
be very careful and stuff.
Yeah.
So he just watches a lot of movies and shows now, which is nice. A huge change of pace.
Yeah, yeah, and I know y'all are kind of out there. Are y'all able to get out any at all?
Like what do you mean exactly?
Like
we're
like just
Jonathan
go
and I,
into
we
like
live more like in,
Oh,
in the
yeah,
urban
yeah,
part of it's like y'all are more rural, so it's just like how is like sort of quarantining different for you? Because it's y'all are kind of like out a little more sparsely populated, more out in the woods,
yeah,
so to speak.
it's not bad because there's a Dollar General right next to us, but for the coming weeks and stuff, or for the past few weeks, they'll occasionally run out of stuff, or they won't have the stuff we need, so we'll have to go to Foodland, which is quite a bit down the road, and
yeah, and that's a place you don't want to go. If it's the food land I'm thinking of.
yeah, I don't know. I don't honestly. I don't want to go, or I hate going to any big grocery store just because it's just so like. I would say that food, because I have had to go to Target recently to get stuff because Foodland didn't have they. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. Like Foodland isn't sparsely populated with people, but like people like stock up, of course, and it's like. There's oh man, yeah, I don't know, like it's not weird, it's just it's interesting to think that like we have to like really think about our trips to the store, and usually that's just one maybe every 2 weeks or more.
Yeah, because like I know like I try to carry my mask everywhere just in case I need to go to like Walmart or something. My work provides me with a fuck ton of gloves, so I'll usually get a couple from there, like if I have to go after work. And just get a couple gloves, so because I ain't touching anything in that store with my bare hands.
Oh yeah, no,
because like I don't know about y'all, but I'm really bad about touching my face. I've been more self-conscious and like watching myself lately, but yeah, it's like fuck, I am not getting this goddamn disease.
yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, my mom, she's an LPN, so we have like a ton of gloves and stuff, and she got like right before the pandemic broke, or when where we're at right now, she actually stocked up on masks too. So like I always bring gloves and a mask and another just in case I do something dumb like touch my mask or like something happens.
Yeah.
How have you been, Pat?
Maybe well, much like y'all, I'm just trying to keep semblance of what I need to do, what I need to think about. I know I got in a sort of a bad way maybe a couple weeks ago, but I think what sort of helped me was sort of just focus on the things I can control. I can control like how much I expose myself to outdoors, how often I go out, how sort of things like that. Just like on the smaller things that I have the immediately like access to, control to. That's been a big help in sort of controlling the existential spiral that can definitely come out of this.
Yeah, and that's just like good life advice anyway, sans the pandemic. But yeah, it's definitely with the with all this shit going on.
And to your point about just going out, I've had to go out more for my job, and it's just sort of funny some of the places that I have to go to pick up things for work. Like recently, I had to go to one of our local hardware superstores to pick up something for my work. How every single day places like Lowe's and Home Depot are just like asses to elbows out there. Like there's for some reason, every single like middle-aged person who's like out of work and doesn't want to stay at home, they spend all day at Lowe's and Home Depot like, oh, I guess we're at home now trying to do all those projects we've been thinking about. And it's just aggravating to think that they're just out there with no protection most of the time. I feel sorry for all the people who have to work there, and they're just sort of like they're getting by and they're trying to make the best of the situation, but they have all these people just kind of like not really thinking about their own safety or other safety and sort of like the general risk of exposure, and just like, hey, let's just build a bookshelf or start a garden or something. And it's like, this isn't really necessary.
Because like one of our friends who works at Lowe's that I used to work at, she was saying that most people are just coming in to like get gardening shit because this like, oh, I can't do shit at home, so I guess I can do gardening or whatever. But it's like, but everyone has that same idea. And I don't know, I haven't been on that side of town to see how Lowe's is doing, but fuck, like we live across the street from our Home Depot, and it is always packed. Like the parking lot is always
That's
full.
crazy.
And I'm like, gee.
They're getting done the house stuff that they never had time to do. Like, there's a cabinet with a fucked up drawer. Gotta fix that. Been on the list for a long time.
I mean, that makes sense, but if you're gonna do that, if you need those supplies, if you really want to do that, make sure you go out with the protect.
Yeah, and
You also
don't
gotta
just
think
go
about
out
where we
willy-nilly.
live and the type of mindset that people have about sickness.
It was.
Stuff
I
like this.
cannot believe
That is
how
true.
packed. I have when I went to Target, I could not believe how packed it was. Like not only on the road at Target, there were like very little people with protection on, and there were people that were up my ass in line.
Yeah, and they have like clear signs of like, stay 6 feet, fucking social
They
distance.
literally put
you
stuff on the
fucking
floor
inbreds.
that shows you the distance that you should keep between the next person. And this guy, I remember, okay, I told Colt this. There was this guy who this college guy, literally came there to get, I think, wine. Fucker was down my neck breathing. Like, are you serious?
It's like, dude, back
Like,
the
do you
fuck
not-
up.
I mean,
Like, I'm not kidding. I could feel his breath on my neck, and he was just looking at his phone. Like, what are you doing here, dude?
and just to your point about people like not heeding like any sort of signs or postings like in a store, we have at least 9-foot diameter like cautionary tape on the floor that's about a foot or a foot and a half wide. It says, please stand behind this line in order to be served. And literally every single day they just walk right by it. They just see this giant ass vibrant caution tape on the floor, and it's just like, that doesn't apply to me, and just walk over it.
Ooh, bold people, I guess. Jesus.
Oh man, and at my job, like they are just luckily, like I'm like super fucking fortunate because we're close to the public, and part of my job doesn't require interacting with the public, so I can go to work. But I swear to God, I get calls every single fucking day, asking whether we're open or not. And there will be people who will come up to the door and they'll just like start yanking on the door, even though we have a total of like 9 signs on the door saying some form of like, we are closed, go the fuck away. But they just fucking yank on the door. And when I go up there and be like, hey, what the fuck are y'all doing? They're just like, oh, can I get blah, blah, blah? I'm like, no? What part of we are close to the public you not understand? It's these older people who think that we can just make exceptions for them. There's like, oh, well, I just need one thing. Can you let me? I'm like, no. Like, if I have to let you in, then I'll have to let the next person in. And then why are we close to the public?
Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
But people just think the world fucking revolves around them, and it's frustrating.
It's just.
I haven't.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I haven't left my house since March 17th.
God, how are you holding up?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I try to talk to people as much as possible, which is you guys.
Yeah.
I've only seen my mom and my 2 neighbors whenever we went to a storage shelter face to face. I've only seen 3 people, humans, face to face in the last month and a half.
Jesus Christ.
So you've been the safest of all of us, but also you're in the most in danger of mental poisoning.
Yeah. I'm already going insane, it feels like, just seeing all these people doing what they please, making the situation worse when it could be a lot easier just to stop what you're doing. Just don't. Stay home. Watch Netflix. Or jerk off.
Yeah.
It's literally that
and
simple.
Like, I've told Colt this, and I'll say this on here. I'm like, and it's just weird because I'm so used to like going to campus, going to town, and sometimes I just go to town because I just want to go like to Barnes and Noble or something, or go like up to Hoover just to look at stuff, maybe not even buy anything, just to look, because I like to get out, I like to move around. Same thing with my dad, but because this is happening and I have so much stuff here in my room that like to keep me occupied, that like I'm perfectly like, it sucks that it's but like I've been actually like, besides the schoolwork and that shit, it's like nice to just like sit here and just relax and just like get to stuff or focus on things that I haven't had the time or haven't felt like doing. And like, it's just, I know it can be hard, but like, you just got to do it.
Because we don't want to be locked up in our houses until like the middle of next year, which is like at the rate it's going, that's might be what happens.
All I know is our government needs to fucking step their shit up. They're fucking stupid as shit. I'll say that. It's dumb.
Oh my god.
You're only making it worse for us. Please, just shut it all down nationwide, please.
But what they're doing is, it's that stupid fucking conservative Republican logic where they're just like, we'll let the states decide. And then the states are like, well, we'll let the counties decide. And it's just, they're just delegating it all the way down.
I will say it is funny because that our governor seems to be a little bit more level-headed than the surrounding southern states.
Oh, yeah, like, of all the states, I figured we would be like one of the fucking worst. But like out of like the Southeast, we're like, our Governor Kay Ivey is probably like the most sensible one, and that's being very generous too, because like she's a fucking dumb shit.
I want my hair cut.
But like. Oh my god, do not get me started on that.
We have to go to Fuddruckers.
More like butt fuckers.
Let me shave my balls.
You can do
It's
this
like,
from home.
you can shave your balls at home.
I mean, literally just do what like a bunch of our friends have already done, just shave their head.
Yeah.
Just do something like, if I had gotten my 3 weeks quarantine from work, which I'm still salty about, I probably would have done something drastic with my hair or my facial hair. Like, everybody knows I have a beard, but I really wanted to change it up, and not going out in public would give me that freedom to do something crazy. Like, I thought about maybe just having a mustache or just having a goteee, but I don't get that chance now. Yeah. But, well, that reminds me. I remember us talking in chat a while back. Have you changed your appearance up while on lockdown?
I'm continuing to trim my beard like normal, but my hair... it's just getting longer and longer, and it's just going to be the longest I've ever had my hair, probably my whole life by the time this is all over.
Fuck.
Because I am not going to get a haircut from, like, my mom, because that's going to be a bad situation. And I'm also not going to get a haircut from, like, a barber. I'm not comfortable. Because I don't know, they could have cut so many people's hair that day. I don't feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, most of those places are closed anyway.
Yeah. For now, but I don't know. Our economy needs it, so probably not for long.
Hey guys, don't you know some things are more important than living?
Yeah, because money or death. That's all you got.
Did y'all see Texas's lieutenant governor basically, saying the economy was more important than living? Just like flat out saying
my
that,
balls.
like mass.
Please
Shave my balls.
And literally earlier that week, he posted like pro-life, no abortions, every life is important, and then he's like, but also life is important, but not as important as getting the economy back.
Man, that is some funny shit. That is so freaking funny. like
yeah,
it's so
he's not gonna fucking matter when we're all dead.
It's so insane. Like, it just reminds me of the people who said more people were killed from abortions than the Holocaust. Like, what? That's literally the same mindset when somebody says something like that. Oh my god, that's okay. Back to hair.
Yeah, back to hair.
We talked about this. Pat brought it up. We talked about this. How I actually was right before this was gonna happen. I was gonna shave my head, I was gonna shave my head because I was like, crap, we're about to go into quarantine. I don't want to grow out my hair, like, because I was thinking, because I wanted this for however long just to keep it kind of short and not as long as I did last year. So I was going to just shave it, but, I never got around to it. So now, I can't. So my hair is just growing out. I could shave my face, but I don't really care about doing that. I don't go out much anyway. So, like, I'm like, I'm just going to try. I'm going to see if I can grow out a fuller beard, because I've always had a problem of growing it out. It never grows out, like, right or full. It's always patchy, but so far it's fuller than it has been before. Just got to go even longer to see how much it grows out. Kind of my situation. Shave my balls.
Like my hair has been long for the longest time, so Nothing has changed in that regard.
Yeah.
I can't let my quote beard grow out because my beard looks fucking horrendous.
I understand.
Like it's just really light and then like really patchy, and it's mostly neck. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah?
no,
Jonathan, I have the solution for you. You just gotta
What?
buzz it down over and over and over until your whole face is covered in stubble, and then you let it grow.
Or I can just be a smooth babyface boy.
Yeah,
Like
fuck
I
it.
wanna
Being
Well,
a
Johnson,
babyface.
won't
Everybody
you
here's
pass
not
you-
babyface. Jonathan's the only babyface. Everybody hit him.
Shave balls.
I mean, I don't give a shit.
But-
What if you fashion your hair into a beard for yourself? You can take it off.
You know, I could
Shave
do
your
that.
balls. Put the hair on your face.
Why are you so persistent about the ball shaving?
I think I actually did go insane. I was gonna say, Jonathan,
Wenzel is broken.
my facial hair does the same thing. It grows mostly around my neck. So annoying.
It's so
It
gross.
is, yeah.
Like I tried to grow it out like a year or two ago, and I tried to convince myself that, it's like, oh, it'll grow. It's just awkward right now. It'll grow in, and it just did not. Because like there's a gap from part of my cheek to my chin that's just bare. It doesn't grow shit. Even if my beard were to grow out, there would just be these two little gaps on the side of my face.
So you have like this sort of mutton chop, friendly gentleman sort of situation.
Actually,
I did have fucking sideburns for a while.
I remember that. Actually, I have the same thing. There's just this little tiny space where what would be my mustache doesn't connect to my chin, and it's just like 4 or 5 hairs could just grow right there. It'd connect. It'd be perfectly fine. But nothing's like there's some tiny hairs. It's not growing.
But Wenzel, that means you'll have a Van Dyke, which is a type of beard.
I know, Pat.
Or is it technically classified as a mustache?
I don't know, man.
Who knows? But yeah, that's why I gave up on a beard. I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to be babyface. I'm going to embrace it.
Did we say this is the 3-year anniversary? Did you say that, Pat?
That's what I was hinting at when I opened this up with my commemorative co-host, because this is technically our 3-year anniversary show, because the very first episode of AYCH came out April 29th, 2017.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Woo,
3
woo, woo.
years.
3 years.
It's not exactly what we planned, which I don't even remember what we planned.
Oh man, I am so sorry.
The
We had
quarantine
so
gets
much
kind
I
of
am
fucked
scheduled.
up.
so
We
sorry
had
to
so
the
much
audience.
planned.
There literally was so many plans, and now they just all fell through. Like we can't do anything.
Like we had a whole episode talking about what we had planned for this year, and then all that kind of got knocked down.
Yeah, and we're just kind of having to do it week to week, just see
We're
what
just
we
kinda,
can
yeah.
do.
Like I went through our idea bank for our top of the year meeting and sort of broke it down to what we could do, what we could not do whatsoever. Like with traveling and going out for food and taste tests, so we can't do those anymore. And all the guest stuff I had lined up, that's kind of SOL right now. So basically, what we have left, I had like 5 or 6 episodes that we could do, just Jonathan and me or Canon. And then I broke down the remaining episodes, like who we could get on from the main group, like y'all, or Cody, or Tanner. So we kind of have to rebuild from the ground up what our sort of content's going to be. Luckily, talking with Jonathan, we do have some stuff planned. So don't worry, we still have content ready to go. It's just
Hell
we
yeah.
just had to do some thinking on our feet and just sort of do some restructuring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, it wasn't that big of a deal, and we'll probably talk about
I mean,
off
yeah,
air
we'll just have to
after
free
this.
ball it.
Also, a good thing
Shave balls.
is that Wenzel and I, this is the first one we've been able to record since I don't even remember. So this is going to be us coming back into more episodes in the future. So
Maybe.
get ready to hear more of this.
Just behind the curtains, because I think the last episode we recorded
break.
was definitely just like during spring break, during our banter weekend. That was definitely over a month ago, because while they had appeared on every episode the month before, those were recorded well in advance. So
Yeah.
this is really the first time we got to talk to them outside of one other occasion since our weekend together.
So yeah, it was basically from Final Fantasy till now. It's been just like me and Pat, or me, Pat, and Can.
Free balling.
Free balling.
We did want to catch up with y'all, see what y'all were up to. 'Cause I know y'all, we talking a little bit in chat about some of the movies we've been seeing, the games we've been playing, shows we've been watching. Because we kind of talked about that at the top of the month between Jonathan and myself. But also, we want to hear from y'all. What have y'all been consuming while in quarantine?
me, I have been a big gamer. I've been turning into a gamer boy. Gaming, playing those games. I'm totally not catching time so I can look at what I've been playing. I've been playing a lot. It's been so long. At the beginning of the quarantine, Wenzel and I dove real deep into Neo 2. And that was a very... we're not even done
We're not even done with it.
It's a very, very fun co-op experience.
It's so fucking hard.
It is insanely hard. It's way harder than any Dark Souls.
Any Souls game, it is so hard. Actually, before we got into Neo 2, we were actually playing Far Cry New Dawn, which is really fun.
It's been so long.
We haven't even finished that either, but we have time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna name some stuff that I've beaten: Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing, Resident Evil 3, Final Fantasy 7, and I've started countless games because I'm trying to find that feeling, that rush, that serotonin that Final Fantasy 7 gave me. And it's going to be a long time before I get that.
Yeah, and then me and Colt are probably going to do an episode on that because I finally finished it a few days ago.
Yes.
Or actually about a week ago now. God damn.
Yeah, I finished it April 17th, 2020.
Fucking do it.
Yeah, very, very good game.
How was Resident Evil 3?
Resident Evil 3, I absolutely love it. I can understand why a lot of people were mad at it because they cut out a good bit of content. But personally...
Yeah, I've heard it is, like, really short.
Yeah.
It's not really, because I beat it in the same amount of time that I beat Resident Evil 2, the remake, that is. I beat my Leon playthrough, at least one of the playthroughs, was like 4 hours and 30 minutes, and my Resident Evil 3 playthrough was like 4 hours and something. So they're relatively the same length, but Resident Evil 2 does have, you can play as Claire.
Yeah, and I mean, that's how you get the full story is by playing.
But it's mostly the same stuff with Resident Evil 2, and I don't know. A lot of angry babies about that, if you ask me, with the time length of Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 3 is a great game. If you like Resident Evil 2's fun action bits, you'll love it.
Yeah, I think the big issue a lot of people were having is like, why are we being charged $60 for just this, just for a 4-hour experience?
Yeah. Also, people fail to realize Resident Evil, or the new Resident Evil games, the replayability is really, really high because they have the in-game shop that you can open as soon as you beat the game, where you can get buffs like extra pouches, extra coins that do damage, add health, stuff like that. And it just makes it more fun to do. Because I started my speedrun of Resident Evil 3, and I'm already halfway through the game, and I'm like only an hour in. Yeah, but I haven't attempted to go back to it due to it being really difficult, and I don't feel like doing that right now.
Yeah, because I mean, I recently played Resident Evil 2 remake, and I was not prepared for how scary that fucking game was.
Oh, it's definitely probably the scariest game. It and Resident Evil 3, bundle them together, that is the scariest time you'll have in horror video games.
Yeah, and how fucking hard it was. Like, I died so much to just fucking bullshit.
Oh, God.
Burp.
I can't help it.
No, I got you.
I also got Persona 5 Royal. I've been enjoying that. I've not played it.
Now, which one is Royal?
It's Persona 5 that is the definitive edition that added a bunch of tiny stuff. The new character. And like a new semester and a bunch of new stuff. It's basically the same game, but it's got a different ending and stuff like that.
Oh, God, I need to finish that game.
Because Persona 5 Scramble, that's the one for the Switch that plays more action RPG, correct?
Yeah, that's the actual sequel to Persona 5, the original game. It goes off the story from the end of Persona 5, the original.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen any game, or I've only seen gameplay. I don't know any story. I really can't wait for it to come out. Also, I play Animal Crossing daily, at least 30 minutes a day. Used to be playing like 5+ hours a day for like 3 weeks straight. It's an amazing game.
So, much the same page with you, Cole. I play it. That's like a daily kind of cool down for me. Just play like half an hour to an hour every day. And so I'm definitely going in a much more leisurely pace with New Horizons than I have in the past, where I'm just like, well, I just so an inordinate amount of time into the game, and but it's also been fun to sort of play simultaneously with my sister, because I mentioned before, she's just not into video games at all. But as soon as she found out about it, like she borrowed it from me, but then she went out and bought her own, and we played quite a few times and sort of talked on the phone while we were playing. So even though we can't really hang out with each other right now, that's like our way of keeping in touch throughout all of this, which has been a very nice little experience.
That's fun.
Yeah, it is nice.
Because like I guess that's another thing that's sort of like an unfortunate byproduct of the quarantine, is that I usually go home like once every couple weeks or so, and because of this, I haven't been able to see my family because we live about half an hour apart, and the only time I got to see them was when we had a big storm coming through, and the family came over to bunker down. But outside of that, it just hasn't really been very prudent to make several trips back and forth. So, but I guess the quarantine has its some positive turns to it that we can sort of work through to get what we need to get by.
Yeah.
Oh, before we get off video game, or at least I get done with my video game segment, played a whole lot of the Modern Warfare, whole lot with Wenzel. Like, we played it a little bit when it first launched because it's a new Call of Duty. I honestly wasn't feeling it at launch because there was a lot of stuff wrong that I didn't necessarily like due to spawns and damage, and it just took a lot of getting used to. They released Warzone. Wenzel and I went crazy on it, and we played nothing but Warzone for a week.
Was that the Battle Royale mode?
Yeah. It's honestly the best Battle Royale mode. That's not a joke. I usually hate Battle Royales, but this one's really fun. Due to the fact that you can, when you die, you go to the gulag and you beat another person to death. No, you fight them to the death. And if you win, you can actually come back
You get back in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cannon was he was playing that a lot, and he was telling us about it.
Yeah, it's real fun. And then we just been playing multiplayer like crazy. It's nice to be able to play Call of Duty again.
Well, here's the thing about that, Colt.
Yeah.
I haven't played Modern Warfare since it first came out.
Who have I been playing with?
That's for you to find out next week.
Oh,
Not you, the audience. Fuck.
Oh.
But
okay.
Yeah, no, we've been playing so much Call of Duty. Literally, when we first played Warzone, the second game we ended up winning Warzone.
Oh yeah, we totally did.
Yeah, we
I
totally
forgot
fucking
about
owned
that.
it. It was so sweet. Oh my god, Warzone, like, it wasn't until like we were like, we kind of want to like we really wanted to rank up weapons and stuff in multiplayer, so we got off Warzone. But like, just thinking about it, oh, it's so exciting. It's a rush, because it's like, even if you die, you go to the gulag, and then you're just pumped up, and you beat a man to death, and
Yeah, and then there's times when you don't beat a man to death, and you just watch your friend roam in the wilderness trying to find enough money to bring him back in. It's very fun.
It's fun. It's really fun.
I'm just saying, if one of you guys dies before me, I'm going to try to find $4,000, and I'm going to throw it in the nearest ATM.
Well, I was going to say, Jonathan has a new video game experience. He started last night. He started Nier Automata.
Yeah.
And he was sure to let everybody know about it. Because he was playing to a certain part, and I was in bed dead asleep, and I just hear screaming from the living room so loud that me, deaf, in the back of the house, shot straight up out of bed. And it's like, who the fuck is dying? And I run out in the hallway, and Johnson's just sort of like sitting, mouth agape in an armchair. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I'm trying to like get my brain rewired to figure out this fight or flight scenario. Turns out he saw a very interesting part of the story. Why don't you elaborate on that?
Oh yeah, the robots were fucking.
Yeah,
I was
become
not
as
prepared for
gods.
that.
Become as gods.
Yeah, I was just like,
You know,
what?
And the thing
Okay.
is, when he said that, I was like, oh man, did he just spoil a part of the game? I don't remember that. And then literally, like, it didn't click until Colt says become as gods, and I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, it's at the very beginning.
It's
of
literally
the game.
Yeah, it was like maybe like
yeah,
2
because
hours
we
in after that.
streamed
Because-
it, and that was on the stream, and that was amazing.
I hung around for a bit longer, and I'd see like all these little tin can robots like humping, and then they start like coalescing to this big ball, and it hatches into like naked anime Sephiroth looking dude, and then like your robot maid wife, and somebody else has to like beat him to death. The whole time I was like watching the robots fuck. It just looked so jarring. It was like the Island of Misfit Toys, but they're horny.
It is literally. Honestly, I would call it surrealism.
Yeah, it's really out there, but I'm really fucking enjoying
That's
it
good.
so far.
That's
Dude,
good.
the whole game is magical. I can't wait for you to get the true ending. I think it's ending D. Oh my goodness. It is the most emotional I've ever been playing a video game since, like, the ending of Metal Gear Solid. The true ending for Metal Gear Solid 5. Man, I love it so much. Nier Automata, if you haven't played it, this goes to anyone. Play it. It's got a really, really fun story. If you just do it.
And even then, it's just a really fun game to play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Platinum Games.
Yeah.
Of course, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be balls to the wall. You know they just go hype as hell, crazy with their stuff.
Yeah, and like the controls are buttery smooth. Like I was surprised at how open the game was.
Oh yeah, you can do whatever or you can go wherever you want.
Because like I'm used to other Platinum games like Bayonetta, where it's like you
yeah.
can explore the areas, but it's definitely more contained.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was like I would even argue probably to a detriment. It is really open.
Hey.
Because there was this one quest I did for that fucking Jean-Paul Sartre robot,
I don't
where
remember.
you have to go halfway across the map, then back again, and then halfway across. Like you have to go back and forth. I was like, God damn it, this is too much walking.
Hey, I don't even care when it comes to like walking and exploring in that game because the music, the soundtrack, I was enjoying it the whole time. Especially that desert area, it's so bland and empty. But man, hearing that beautiful singing while going through that desert just made it all worth it.
Yeah, I was actually surprised at how many tracks of the soundtrack actually have like vocals and lyrics.
Oh no, they're like pretty much every single track, almost every single track has a down mode where like there's no action, but as soon as like action or fighting comes into play, singing will happen. So there is a just instrumental, then action happens, and then there's singing. It's a very, very cool system they have.
No.
Play Nier.
Play Nier.
Is it okay if I talk about my video game experience?
Yeah.
I also beat Doom Eternal 3 days after it came out. Amazing fucking game. Probably my favorite of the year so far. Depends on what comes out this year still.
Yeah, depending on
Just
if anything
absolutely
comes out.
insane freaking game. Like I know people talk about how like Doom didn't really have a story, but it did. And the way the direction Doom Eternal takes the story, there's still like a lot of questions, of course, but also it's like absolutely insane, and I love it. And I'm glad they're actually expanding it rather than just being like demons from hell, you got to kill them, bam. Like it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I beat also Resident Evil 3 several hours after it came out. I think it took me 6 hours. Really fun, really good. And then yeah, me and Colt have been playing Call of Duty, and that's just been great. Really good way to relax.
A lot of time playing video games.
Yep.
It's very nice to have it again because I don't know when we're gonna have another time like this.
Yeah.
Hopefully never.
Like I've just been so like it's just been a busy semester, and then like we've already said this, but like as soon as not the pandemic, the quarantine hits, it's like the semester just slowed down to like almost a complete halt, and like so much work for my classes had been cut or been shortened, and it was nice, but it's like, oh my god, but like it definitely gave me more room to work with or to do things.
Jonathan, you and me do our Final Fantasy VII bit for the episode? Not a bit, but us talking about Final Fantasy VII.
I figured we could do like an entire episode about it.
Oh, I know, but like just the general stuff.
Like general thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you go first.
Everybody's hot. Every single one of them. Every single one
I was not prepared of how attractive everyone was going to be in that
I was
game.
going to say, Colt's been very emotional and very horny about Final Fantasy.
Dude, you got Barrett, you got Aerith, you got Tifa, you got Cloud, you got Zack, you got Rufus, you got
I was not prepared, because I've seen like every other character kind of rendered in 3D, so I knew what to expect. But like, I was not prepared for how hot Rufus was, and I was like, goddamn, you had no right to be hot. Also, that fight was like fucking hype.
It's honestly probably my favorite fight in the whole game.
I would agree. Like, it pissed me off because it was so fucking hard. But like, I'll probably have to agree, it was one of my favorites.
Fuck Reno. See,
Yeah, what the fuck was Reno? Like, his fucking shirt was undone and everything. I'm like, this is getting steamy. Y'all need to stop.
everyone was. I just cannot deny it. I will not deny it. I cried while just being there.
Can I put my 2 cents in?
Yes.
I haven't played Final Fantasy, but I've seen Aerith, I've seen Tifa, and I've seen Jessie, and I have crushes on all of them.
Why did I forget about Jessie? Jessie too.
Oh my god! Now I will say Jessie kind of got on my nerves with the horny. Like she was way too.
I will say,
wet.
okay, I watched an entire video of just Jessie's horny and flirty moments, and Jesus Christ, I love it.
Cloud's just like, please leave me alone.
Yeah, like there is one moment when I think it's like chapter 4 when they're on the bikes and they're going to her house and she is just laying it on thick.
Dude,
and
I was living that moment.
And Cloud
that moment, I was
literally
living.
just says, and Cloud was just like, "Please shut up." And it was just like,
I love
oh
her.
my god, this is great.
I don't even know anything about her.
Yeah, I'm
I
with
just love
Wenzel.
her.
Hey Colt,
What?
this might cause some contention between us.
What?
Tifa or Aerith?
Aerith all the way. I'll say it.
Oh, fuck off.
No, she's too
Tifa
pure.
all the way. I'm Tifa stan.
I love Tifa, but like she's like a sister.
Okay, I understand that. Well, I don't understand that, but I can understand
Tifa's-
like what you're saying. I just love the picture of Aerith having a fucking folding chair.
Yeah, where she literally takes a chair shot to somebody's face. It was
By
great.
God, Aerith with the steel chair.
Also, the whole Don Corneo, I'll rip him off. Yeah, Aerith,
Oh my.
man, come on.
Also,
Yeah.
Aerith quote right here: "Cloud, permission to kill."
Yes.
I remember sitting in the room watching Jonathan play through the underground to get to the honey hive and like Don Corneo's club, and like that whole sequence
Yes,
was really funny.
yes.
How, like Aerith is like they really turned up the cutesy ooh woo factor with Aerith in this game, but like when she had her shady or sinister moments, it comes out really well.
for sure.
Freaking loved the game up until the last hour.
I love the game all
like
the way
I still love the game. Like the game's probably, depending on what comes out, probably my favorite of the year. But Liz was watching me play it, and she's also a huge fan of Final Fantasy. And when it was all said and done at like 5 a.m, we both like turned to each other and we were like, I hate this. But like I'm not as vitriolic about it as I was. I'm willing to see what they'll do with it. I don't think they're going to pull it off, if I'm being honest.
What I'm hoping is that they actually just change the whole ending of the original game, because I would be so happy. Honestly, Final Fantasy, if you want to play the original, play the original. I want some switches up in the story.
This is sort of that's one thing I do like. It doesn't negate the original, but one of the big reasons I wanted the remake was to actually have a good translation of Final Fantasy VII, because and this is solely for English speaking countries. But the translation for Final Fantasy VII is utter poo-poo garbage. And so, like, they did such a good job with this one, and then it's like, yeah, and we're probably not going to get the rest of it. It's like, I don't know.
And to his point, like, we've seen remakes, several of the other Final Fantasies, many times with, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. They've been redone several different times with like, better translations or different translations each time. But really, we never got another version of 7 up until now, as we have the OG PlayStation version. You have all these little ancillary intermittent stories, and then you have this ultimate recreation of it. So we never got that middle version that we got with all the other reintroductions or remakes of the earlier series. So I see where he's coming from in regards to that.
Yeah, and like that being said, overall, like that doesn't negate how great the rest of the game is. And there are ways I think they could do it that would work. And once we go into it in more depth and full spoilers and stuff, there's kind of a direction I think they might go where I'm like, okay, I could live with this. But if they go a completely different direction and it's sort of following the similar themes, not because it's different, like I can handle the change. It's just, to me, thematically and character-wise, it's just nowhere near as interesting. And like, it's kind of hard to talk about without spoilers, so...
If Aerith dies, I'll go into a coma and you'll never see me again.
And that's like I said, I'm trying to be vague, but
I just did a spoiler for the original.
And this is going to sound
original.
heartless, but if they do some bullshit to bring her back or keep her alive, I think I'm going to check out.
Oh no! I want her alive. I don't care. I want her alive.
But it just goes everything against what the original was about. Even makes her character far less interesting. But like, we'll get more in depth into that, like, spoilery wise.
Yeah.
They'll have a DLC at a later date where if Aerith does die, upload a DLC and just play just like another side, another story, just B plot where Aerith lives, or like you do like this like quick time action where she dodges Sephiroth the sword and it's like gotcha, bitch.
But honestly, I probably wouldn't be surprised if they just have a possibility where you can get multiple endings. Like
yeah, and that's
I feel like you could in the original. I haven't beaten the original, so I don't know.
Okay, well, like. The thing with the original is, like, there are choices you can make, but, I mean, ultimately, there's not a lot you can do. The biggest, like, outcome is who you get a date with in the Golden Saucer. Yeah. But, like, what I think what I'd like for them to do, and it's something they kind of touched on with this game, and I could see them really fleshing it out, is where it is more, you can do, like, more, like, what-if scenarios if you want to, but you can still stay on the path to the original game, if that's what you want. And then you can go back and like do different changes to see what other outcomes you could have. But like we won't know until probably 5 years from now.
Yeah, I don't expect the actual all of Final Fantasy VII remastered or remake to be out by like 2027.
Yeah. But I imagine these next two will come out quicker just because they have like most of the assets and stuff.
That is true.
But and that's usually what takes the longest, but, I mean, they still have to create Sid, Yuffie, Vincent, the rest of Kate Sith.
Kate Sith was there. Kate Sith was there for 10 seconds, but I loved every second.
And one thing I will, like, clarify to those who have listened to our Final Fantasy episode where I said wait till the remake and play that one because that might be the definitive version. You need to play the original Final Fantasy, or at least have a working knowledge of the original Final Fantasy VII for the remake to remotely work. And it is a game for fans.
For me, I've only played the original Final Fantasy VII up to like if some part, if you're still in Midgar, I haven't gotten that far.
Oh, God, you're not far at all.
I'm enjoying it a whole lot, and I think if you do not play the original and you play this one, you'll be fine. That's just me.
Okay.
But I know all these spoilers because
yeah, that's the thing.
Game.
Like, if you have if this is your first exposure to Final Fantasy VII, then I think you will be lost, especially when it comes to the end. It's be like, who is that, and why does he matter?
Yeah, that's true, because he has been popping up the whole game, and I know about him due to
him. But I was talking specifically about someone else that only shows up at the end.
Whoever that is.
Yeah, like I said, we'll go into our full spoiler thoughts in the episode, but and it's so hard to talk because even though I don't like the ending, it's really fun to talk about. So it's like,
Rufus, very nice.
God, that fucking bullshit where he pulls out the fucking coins and shoots them and goes.
Oh, I don't care. Hit me with it all you want.
No, like I'm awesome. Like, fucking Christ, that was so fucking cool. Like how, like I was like not prepared for how like extra that fight was going to be.
Final Fantasy VII, check it out. Very cool.
Yes. We need to change subject before I just go off on a tangent.
Been watching a whole lot of anime.
I've been watching a whole lot of anime. Me too, yeah.
That's something to be curious to find out your feelings, because we had our seasonal anime review the other day, and Jonathan and I got to go on about what our favorites were for the season and what we liked. So we want to hear from you. What from this spring anime season did you like?
Before we get to that, an anime that I actually watched before that I finished, I was already caught up with the manga, but finished the entire season 4 of My Hero. Absolutely beautiful, fantastic. Love it's just so weird when I hear fans who didn't like the Overhaul arc. That was my favorite arc in My Hero. Fantastic, beautiful animation. That's what I have to say about that. Also, recently did some sketches, doodles for that as well. Check my Instagram or Twitter. Um,
God, I need to catch up on My Hero. I'm like
it,
3 seasons behind.
You do.
we were all
catch up,
screaming
'cause
when
it's good.
when I caught up, when Colt caught up, and then when Tanner caught up. Like, me and Tanner had already read that far in the manga, but it's like, it does not make sense when people say the manga is better. Like, no, it's not. When you like have something this beautifully animated, had this much work put into it, no, the manga is not better because it like Deku versus Overhaul. Like, I'm sorry, that might be a spoiler.
Just
I
following
mean-
like anime tropes, like Deku's gonna fight the main villain of the arc of the story. So like
Yeah.
that's not too much of a spoiler.
Deku versus Overhaul was easily one of the best fights we've seen in the anime so far, and is absolutely insane. Like, oh my god, mwah, mwah, perfect.
When the episode came out, that was like a #1 top trending thing on Twitter that day when that final battle between Deku and Overhaul happened. And I haven't seen the entirety of the fight. I've seen clips, and I know how that story arc ends. So like, I'm very excited to catch up with the anime and find out and sort of see that it's sort of in motion.
Yeah,
But
like I saw where that was trending, but I didn't watch it, so I didn't know the animation or how it looked. So like I essentially had fresh eyes when I saw it, and when I saw it, I was just blown away. I was like, oh my god, they like perfectly like translated this. They translated this perfectly into anime format. It's amazing.
And it's Studio Bones, they're the ones animating the show.
Yes, yes.
Oh, I mean, they're most of their stuff, even with like their shitty shows, is pretty superlatively animated.
Oh yeah, they're perfect for handling this.
Yeah, and what I've seen of My Hero, it's been some of the best animation I've seen in a while.
It's very good.
Yeah,
It's very good. Did you have any thoughts, Colt, about that? About My Hero?
Overhaul, Deku fight, good. Prominence burn, best.
Yeah.
That's
oh, when Endeavor has his big moment,
yeah, he busts a fat
Endeavor, man, such a very troubling but interesting character.
one. Yes.
Yeah.
If you like My Hero, catch up.
Catch up. It's so good. But back to spring anime. What were my 3 favorite? It was Brand New Animal,
Tower of God.
Tower of God. Oh God, excuse me. Sorry, Tower of God and Ranman. Love Brand New Animal. It's from Trigger. It looks to be fun. Tower of God. It also I didn't expect to like Tower of God just because like I don't know. It just seemed kind of like not plain to me, but like kind of like just
Trite.
it didn't seem too out there, you know. But like I do like
Yeah.
I did think the Tower of God idea of like of having like it's not like a physical tower, but it is a tower, and that like it kind of the design of it like from the actual anime art or whatever, it kind of reminds me of the Tower of Babel. Which I thought was cool, and that kind of stuff always interests me. But it seems fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought from the first episode it looked cool. But the one anime I really wanted to talk about is Apare Ranman, just cause it starts off with being like it's pretty much like wacky races, and I thought that was like really weird and funny. But then when it goes back to before that, I thought it was very just like compelling and interesting because like the main character Apara is he's obviously a genius. He seems also very detached from his family and from like societal norms, and we get like
He's a copy and paste of Leak Hair from that one anime, Dr. Stone. He, in my opinion, he is a more annoying version of him.
I think that is
they're not, they're very different.
they're very
characters.
different.
Visually.
Visually.
Well, I mean, even
also,
like characterization wise,
personality wise, they're
there's a lot.
completely different. Senku from Dr. Stone is more blunt, more abrasive, while Apara is more reserved, detached,
Yeah, he seems like a bit more spacey. Like he's not really in the room when he's talking. Like he's not really there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely more in his head.
Completely different
Yeah.
personalities, completely different characters.
I just don't like them. I don't like his character.
I mean,
he just annoyed me more than the.
but
Dr.
anyway,
Stone guy.
what I was saying though was that the part for me that really made me like feel for the character was when he leaves his home because he's essentially gonna be, arrested or killed or whatever, and his handler, when he leaves with him, there's this really just touching moment where he kind of like tells his handler like when the first time he saw steamship, and that first time he saw steamships, that's when he realized the world was much larger than he thought, and that we're connected, and that's something that I don't really know if is explored in anime much, and like which is interesting. That era or that point in a country, a place, or like Japan, where they realize that the world, there's other continents, there's America, there's Europe, there's all these other places, and it's so big and there's so much out there, and like that spirit of adventure and discovery is like Ipara embodies that and wants to go out there, and like that is something that I can appreciate, I can understand, is wanting to just go.
As long as the main character doesn't Christopher Columbus it.
Well, you can't really, can't really do that after Christopher Columbus does it like 100 years before.
I mean, yeah, just don't do it again.
I mean, he can't. But
I mean, you could.
to America?
I mean, if he had an unknown disease or some other isolated ailment and he brought it over there and he spread it could happen.
That can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
But America has already made contact with Japan. That exchange already happened.
Man, just don't trust that pink-haired boy.
Okay.
You just really do not like the pink-haired boy.
Nah.
I think he just hates people with dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I hated the main character of Brand New Animal so much. No, I didn't hate. I loved that character.
Man, I was like, I could not believe in Brand New Animal. Like when those people fucking cornered her and were about to beat her to death, I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is wrong with all of you?
Yeah, it was real. Like it was pretty intense. Like in a way that I wasn't prepared for Studio Trigger to be intense, because usually their intensity is very wacky and fun, and then that was like fuck.
Definitely a little too real. And then it kind of has that hard cut to animal people beating the tar out of this like would-be lynch mob.
And you know what? I would go a step further. I would steal all of their wallets.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know why.
I mean, the otter person stole the main character's wallet. Basically.
Yeah. I mean, no.
Hey, she's not an otter. She's a mink.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I'm sorry. She would have stole my wallet.
She didn't even steal her wallet. It was that monkey.
Oh, and yeah, but she also said, now you got to pay me all the money.
Oh yeah. You're right. Why don't you go talk about what you liked, Colt?
I liked my top 3 was Brand New Animal, Tower of God, and Listeners. I only really see myself continuing Brand New Animals whenever it does come to Netflix.
Yeah.
But Brand New Animals was so good. I don't know about anyone else, but I got weirdly emotional watching it because it was very. Just thinking about it, comparing stuff in real life to in the show, where the main character, she's a tanuki, or is she just a
tanuki?
She's a tanuki, and the fact where she just wants to be a place where she can be herself. I got really emotional whenever she said, I can just be myself, I can take off, I can just do whatever, I can be myself.
Yeah.
I cried at that part. You can't really. I guess it's a rough time in the world.
No,
and just the thought of having that kind of safe haven is very nice.
That's something that's easily relatable and resonates. Universal. That makes perfect sense. I like the part where the wolf guy rips off the elk's antlers.
Yeah.
Yes, wolf guy's also.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like
his whole smackdown between like the lion man and the elk, where they both just hulked up and they just got the floor white, because that was pretty like gnarly when he just broke off his antlers.
Yeah, it was awesome, but it was also kind of hard to watch.
Yeah, because the elk
having that guy like the deer like scream, no, don't take my antlers.
He was literally begging. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, fuck you.
And it reminded me of the Wolf Among Us. Colt, I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah.
Where you fight the Wendigo.
Yeah.
That was a sick scene.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why, it just made me also want to get into I think it's a graphic novel, Black Sad.
Oh yeah,
Black
it's
Sad,
also a
yeah.
game now.
Yeah.
The film noir comic about an anthropomorphic black cat man.
Yeah, John
Yeah.
Black Sad. I've seen so much fan art. I'm like, man, I really want to read that. And the game, whenever
Yeah.
that comes out.
It's already
is?
out. It's been out. Apparently, it's mediocre.
Well.
I haven't really looked into it. I just saw it's like high 60s.
Well, still want to read the novel, the graphic novel.
Yeah, I'm interested. I know that it wasn't talked about in the roundup or the anime thing in the anime episode, but because it just came out, the new Ghost in the Shell anime. This is top anime of the season for me at the moment because I've watched all of it in one night. The new Ghost in the Shell standalone complex 2045 is a continuation of the standalone complex series that started in like 2002, and I just went ahead and watched this even though I haven't fully finished that one, and it is a fun ride. I love Motoko Kusanagi so much. The Major is beautiful in Ilya, I'm gonna slaughter his name, Ilya Kuvshinov's art style. He is an amazing artist, and he did I think all the character designs in this anime, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I know it is a 3D CGI anime, and I usually hate them. I hate them so much, but this one, it's the best one out on the anime market at the moment. It looks so good. It reminds me of Telltale Games. Telltale Games. It reminds me of Wolf Among Us, not Last of Us, The Walking Dead, games like that. It looks very pretty, and it is very, very fun.
And it's on Netflix?
Yes, it just came out. If you wanted to, I feel like you could go into it blind without knowing much about it.
Yeah, because that's what I was about to ask, because I've seen the 95 movie, and am interested in getting further into it, but I've not. Yeah. I've been trying to find a legitimate way to watch standalone Complex, but goddamn if that's not a show that's fucking hard to find.
Yeah, that's why I bought every single. Oh, that's another thing I did over right at the beginning of quarantine. I ordered every single Ghost in the Shell thing on Blu-ray. So I own every Ghost in the Shell thing on Blu-ray now.
Fucking Christ.
I was going to say, I remember seeing in Colt's Letterboxd that he watched like all 7 of these new new quote-quote Ghost in the Shell, because some are like old as 2013, 2014, all in one day, and they're all 100-minute, 90-minute movies.
Yeah, it was the whole Arise series. It's one of the weaker, it's probably the weakest Ghost in the Shell series.
That's what I've heard.
But it's not bad. It's still fun. If you liked Ghost in the Shell period, you'll enjoy this at base level. I don't expect anything crazy. Action scenes are fun. Art's beautiful. It's okay. It's okay. But I'm really excited to actually get into the standalone Complex OG series next. I also got to watch the second movie as well, because I haven't seen the 2001 movie.
Is that the Innocence or whatever?
Yeah.
I've heard that one's really hard to find.
I just ordered it on Amazon. It was only like $20.
Really? I know it was out of print for a while.
Yeah, it's a nice Blu-ray. It's got a cover. It's nice. Nice sheath, I should say, actually.
Okay.
That's been mostly my anime is Ghost in the Shell, My Hero, and the anime for the episode that I thought we were going to do, but we didn't know how to record, so we didn't do it together.
We had planned for Colt and Wenzel to be on for that episode, and just our tech was not working with us that day, and so we definitely had to sort of reshuffle that. And this is still technically our most technologically ambitious setup we have right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, recording over Discord or like some other online service may not be new for a lot of people, I guess, in the podcast world. For us, who's always sort of recorded in person, this is definitely a new bridge for us to get over.
Yeah, because, we want a lot of control over quality and stuff, and that's kind of it's tough when you're not doing it in person with the equipment.
But I will say, get into our next point, we did have a little experience with Discord together last week when we had our big Discord Netflix party, and that was like our first time of really interacting outside of our DMs in almost a month. That was a great time just to catch up with everybody and just at least hear everybody's voices, because it's just been so long, and it's very weird for us who get to see each other typically before this once a week to have that big gap between interaction. That sort of helped reset everything.
Yeah. That was very fun. We before Jonathan and Pat got on, we all were we were hoping that they would play us on their living room TV, and Cody and I think Tanner came up with the great idea of why not just start playing porn. and we just see Cody screen share it and just starts looking up farting videos. And it was
because we were just trying to find the best farting video for just to show us the group, and we spent like a good 5 to 10 minutes looking
and
for
we
one.
found it.
And he was just
it was
blasting
so
farts.
freaking funny. Oh my god. It was very good.
I will say someone did catch an eye, because as John and I we were watching just a compilation of fart porn, and like Cannon just happened to take a glance over, and he was like, "What the fuck is that?" and he gets over, and he just sees like these girls just
ripping ass,
just like blowing ass on top of like a beach ball, and he's just like, "What in God's name is this? This is what you're doing on Discord?
Yes.
You monsters."
Yes. This is exactly what we do on Discord every day.
Then we got into like probably one of our two big shows for the night. We watched the ESW 2010 Royal Rumble. And for those who don't know, ESW is a backyard wrestling federation completely populated by mostly
children.
Calling it like a federation is being very generous. It's just
Jonathan,
a bunch of
they
fucking...
have their own like venue now. Or they did like 5 years ago when
They had their own what? I'm sorry, you cut out.
They had their own venue and like what is that thing called? What's a ring?
Yeah.
They had their own ring and everything.
Yeah, but God, it was just a bunch of fucking high school jackasses.
I remember,
like literally like 14 and 15-year-old was like the median age, and they're just like throwing each other around in the dirt. Like somebody threw like a dead Christmas tree at one, and like one of the wrestlers. One of the wrestlers was legit like 10 years old.
Yeah, Alex G.
And then there was definitely like a couple of them you could tell that were much older, and I'm like,
They're like the designated adult. They're the ones that taught all these teenagers to wrestle. And God, that one bit where you have like 4 or 5 of these kids just like running around, rolling around in the dirt, hitting each other. And they're just, for whatever reason, as the crowd sort of just moves around with them, there's just a guy dressed up like
all black,
the Jigsaw doll, sitting in a chair that no one's paying attention to. He's just sort of there, and then like Swerve, he's one of the guys.
He's one of the
when his
wrestlers.
number hits, he takes off the costume and he starts wailing ass.
You know, I thought you were talking about the guy that was the guy that was dressed in a black trench coat. Black pants, black shirt, black shoes, and a black fucking fedora. And for some reason, he kept getting closer and closer to the fight. He was just a spectator. But no,
he was deaf. He was waiting for.
We
one
theorized that he's deaf. That is the embodiment of death. Watching over.
It's white trash death.
Death let himself go.
Like.
Because he was a very, let's say, Zoftig specter.
God fucking Pat and your goddamn thesaurus brain.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pretend like I know what that meant.
What's that word you just made up?
No, it's a real word, Zoftig, Zaftig. Look it up.
Thanks.
No.
For all you kids out there, that's your word of the day.
Having a full rounded figure, plump, mostly described women.
Okay.
Why can't it describe anyone?
You know what?
I don't know. Pat's the one who's using the word.
No, we can change that definition. It can describe anyone, not just women. We can change its definition.
That's true.
Which is why I ascribed it to a normally incorporeal entity.
Exactly. Thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I mean, if he's just an abstract concept, he has no gender.
He can appear in any form. He's not the perky goth girl from DC Comics. He's sometimes a very big fella in a black outfit.
hell yeah. Just what I like.
Yeah, who knew that death could be so Falstaffian?
Yeah.
You say these words one more time.
I actually
Pat,
know
I
what
will
that
fight
means.
you.
Oh, we got a bite over here. And God, looking into ESW a little bit, because Tanner had brought it up, and I was like, there's no way this factoid can be true. It turns out one of the wrestlers had actually died in a trash compactor accident.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
I remember it.
Yeah.
If anybody didn't know, like his name was Wicked J, and he drove his truck into a trash compactor, and nobody really knows what happened. And his death, one of the curtailings of this federation, I think they officially shut down about 2 or 3 years ago. Because they were active. One time these were like literal children digging and scratching into dirt. So like, young men still digging and scratching into dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause like when it first started, we were like, God damn, they're fucking this yard they're wrestling in is barren as shit. And then after it keeps going on, it's like, oh, that's why their yard is barren as shit. Because they're just like kicking up dirt,
Smashing light tubes, ruining everything.
And they had like these fluorescent light tubes they're hitting each other with.
How I just want to know their fucking light tube budget, because it had to be fucking astronomical because of the amount of light, and like those light tubes are not cheap. So like, how the fuck did they have the money to get
The neighborhood
all
chipped
that?
in.
Yeah. They all like chipped in like enough money to buy one.
No,
Or maybe what happened, they just went to school after dark and just took all the hallway lights out.
no, I'm convinced because
More likely what?
the spectators were like they were just people from the neighborhood watching these kids beat the shit out of each other. So they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's the neighborhood started a fund so that they could give these kids weapons.
Yeah.
Because like God,
It's
there
also
was
weird.
there was one bit where like one of their props was like a crutch that was wrapped with 3 sets of light tubes. And they just busted it over each other's backs.
Yeah, and wasn't there
Yeah.
like barbed wire attached to it as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
Well,
It was like wrapped in barbed wire and the light tube. It's like,
and the crutch.
It was really weird when they beat one of those tubes over Make-A-Wish kid's head. It was the weirdest scene, I have to say. Up there with the Christmas tree being lit on fire and another person being thrown on top of that. That was weird, too.
yeah, but like they couldn't get the tree to light for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. They had to, like, put their hand over the lighter to make sure the wind doesn't blow it out.
They're just spraying the actual like accelerant into the match to get it going, and then somebody immediately takes a bump and puts the fire out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a good bit.
Which, no thank you. All of this looked like it hurt. Every single hit looked like pain. And I just can't.
Yeah, I could not do
Ah, no thanks.
What do you mean? We've been planning what to do once everybody is out of quarantine. On top of, we're going to have a wrestling match / pool party / karaoke party / bouncy castle party, and it's going to be in my backyard.
Yeah, everybody
Fucking
better
shit,
be
Trey.
ripped by the end of this.
Fuck off, Wenzel.
I'm just saying, we gotta
If,
Oh my god.
beat this.
This is a side tangent. Speaking of a bouncy castle, our fucking next door neighbors had like this birthday party yesterday. So there was just a bouncy castle in their backyard. And I was about ready to fucking push some kids out of the way.
You just made me.
It's like, I'm jumping in this bouncy castle, bitch.
wait, you went over to the party?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
You know they have windows,
but he was
right?
like looking over the fence, just like, come on.
Come on, let me.
But don't worry, in another couple to few to a year, we'll have our own bouncy castle.
Hell yeah.
Who knows?
But, whew, man, they were smoking some dank ass kush too.
Something else. We watched too. Well, they watched. I actually wasn't watching. I was drawing with BadLandChugs.
Oh my fuck! I totally forgot.
Our main man, BadLandChugs.
Chugging the world one bottle at a time.
I'm so worried about his
He's been
health.
doing it for 20 plus years. He's
Yeah, and that's not a good thing, Colt.
You're just putting him down.
But granted, I mean this one was just Gatorade, so it wasn't that.
Because he drank 13 bottles of Gatorade in 3 minutes.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Because we went down a rabbit hole with him back on our banter weekend, and we were just like, this is the bravest man who ever lived when he's drinking like the thick water and like the eggnog.
I just fucking
He's drinking
recoiled.
salsa.
Yeah, he was drinking like the Totino's chunky salsa, just like.
And he had to get the chunky salsa.
Yeah, he had
of
a
course.
damn drops there recording. It was a very fun video. I enjoy it. I let the man live his life, chug all the salsa you want, eat all the cigarettes you want,
Wait.
play football.
Yes, eat all the cigarettes you want, because you won't get cancer that way, kids.
No.
Yeah, it's only cancerous when you inhale it, not
Not
when you ingest
eat it. That's true. That's true.
Just make
Please.
sure you don't eat the filters, because that's where all the bad stuff goes.
Please, nobody take our medical advice.
Inject bleach? What? No!
Drink tobacco water? Yes.
That's actually a good idea.
Oh, fuck off.
oh
Uh,
man, I want to make myself
that,
throw up.
that just brought me to this weird dissociative episode where, like, I went over to a friend's house in middle school and his dad dipped, and I had to get up in the morning to use the restroom, and his dad had fucking dip cups everywhere, and I ended up like stepping in a dip cup.
Oh my god,
It was gross.
That's disgusting.
It is really
The only thing
disgusting.
worse than a wet sock is a sock wet with dip water.
Oh my god.
Then we had our feature presentation at our this Netflix Discord party. We watched Hail Caesar
16.
2016 Coen Brothers pick about the golden age of Hollywood. And this is probably the first time in a long time I've seen a Coen Brothers film. And it was like very like low key and quirky. Also, I had no idea that cowboy in the movie was Alden Ehrenreich.
Even though Wenzel said at the beginning
said,
of the
"That's Han Solo."
movie, he was like, "Oh, that's all. That's
Well,
Han
And they
Solo."
were like, oh, Han Solo! I didn't
Yeah.
know. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then literally like 2 days later in our Twitter DMs, Pat was like, "What? Han Solo was in Hail
No,
Caesar?"
he was like, no, he said, "Did you guys know that the cowboy was young Han Solo?" And I was asleep, and literally Colt was like, "Wenzel's gonna lose his shit when he gets up." And yeah, I lost my freaking mind. I was like, I said, Hobie Doyle, I said that's Han Solo.
But how was I to know? Did it even look like Alden Ehrenreich?
Yeah,
It looks
did.
like him to me.
It literally looked like as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh my god, that's Han Solo.
I couldn't tell that was him because
Not
like,
even the scene where he was on the couch staring directly in the camera and he was whispering, "I'm Han Solo."
he has a completely different hairdo than he does in Solo. I couldn't recognize
It
him.
wasn't that
There's
different,
not that
though.
different.
He had like a big curly poofy thing in the front of his head, like a bunch of these teenagers nowadays.
Oh my god.
It was pretty much the same haircut as the Han Solo, just cut around the side.
No, his Han Solo one was kind of straight and it was kind of swoopy, not the
I
weird.
mean, I see what you're
crinkly,
saying,
curly thing
but
he had
But
going
that
on.
jawline, Pat.
But literally, Alden could. Wait, what? You're cutting out.
I was saying that jawline.
I mean, the jaw.
That's
Yeah,
distinctive.
the jawline distinctive, and also, if he wanted to, he could literally probably just get some product, put it in his hair, and then bam, Han Solo hair.
Yeah.
that was but yeah, that was kind of a fun bit. This movie was just a blast. I really enjoyed it. I think
I did too.
our what consensus rating was like.
It was like 4.
It was like 3.8, but it
Yeah.
bumped up to a 4. Because like it's definitely probably not for everyone's taste. Because it is like sometimes it feels like everything's happening and nothing's happening because you have one main thorough line plot and all these sort of like weird sort of quirky vignettes that kind of branch off from that.
Yeah, and that's the thing a lot about, especially late Coen Brothers movies. They're very meandering. To me, this felt like a better version. It's a kind of reductive comparison, but it was a more enjoyable but similar experience to Burn After Reading.
I've never seen that.
I think it's on Netflix, but I mean, it's
Is
a
it the one
Coen
with
Brothers
Brad
movie. It
Pitt?
has a lot of the same cast. Yeah, it's Brad Pitt,
Oh,
George
okay.
Clooney, John Malkovich.
Is that the one where Brad Pitt's like a fitness
Oh,
instructor or something?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
a
I've
dumbass
seen
fitness
seen
trainer.
his costume for that, so I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah, last time I checked, it's on Netflix.
It was like a month ago, but I haven't seen it. I don't go on Netflix that much. Yeah, because it's a bunch of.
But yeah, this is definitely like mid-shelf Coen Brothers to me. But
Yeah,
I loved it.
I remember a long time ago when I first saw the trailer for it, I completely forgot it existed because when we did this Discord party, we were kind of doing it to like do a Netflix watching party, and We chose this
Mhm.
just because like I had completely forgotten this movie existed, and I feel like it's definitely underrated. But I kind of understand if it's not really for you because it definitely kind of like I wouldn't say glorifies Hollywood, but like it.
It just felt like, man, this is Hollywood as hell, isn't it?
It's a celebration of Hollywood, of like old school 40s,
And
50s
like
Hollywood.
I can kind of like appreciate that spirit, I guess, because there were, but this was also kind of just focusing on we were following Josh Brolin's character Eddie Mannix. I can understand the kind of like the celebration of the hard work and the dedication to the art of like filmmaking, because there's a part in there where Eddie Mannix's character, he runs Capitol Pictures
Capital
studio.
Pictures. It's a vague veneer for like
Oh yeah,
MGM, I
and
think.
there's a part in there where he's approached by this guy that comes from Lockheed. Lockheed is a very, very big military contracting company or military. Like they build planes, warplanes, and they were present during the Bikini Atoll hydrogen bombing test. And
Yeah.
there's a part in there where
Hmm.
when he's talking to him, he's pretty much calling his studio like a circus, calling all the people that he works with like freaks or acts or whatever, and then like that also in that moment and through what we see through the movie is that this character, this guy who runs all this, he doesn't see them that way. He doesn't reduce them down to that like this guy does, and he knows, and he goes far enough to say that like this Lockheed guy gives him like a job offer and he denies it and says no, and because he enjoys these people and he respects them, and I think that's nice, but again it definitely like follows that that very like this is Hollywood trope, and but
Yeah. I will say it does kind of it doesn't fall into a lot of the same traps as a lot of movies that are like, yay, Hollywood's great in that if you're familiar with the Coen brothers, they very much ascribe to the philosophy of
yeah.
absurdism, and once you know that, you start really seeing that in all their movies for the most part. So like at least the way I saw like Eddie Maddox's sort of arc was more of like an absurdist
Yeah,
tale, a Sisyphusian type
yeah,
thing, to get all like
I get
pretentious and
definitely,
shit.
I definitely get that because like it's just funny because the movie is called Hail Caesar, and in the movie the I guess the plot of the film is that Eddie Manick is trying to rein in and kind of like trying to solve these problems for his studio. And one of the bigger problems that he has is that George Clooney's character is a big time actor for a Roman movie, which I think is called Hail Caesar as well.
Yeah, Hell Caesar, Tale
Yeah,
of
something
the
like that.
Christ, or something like that. And it's very much like a send up of those
Ben
sword,
Hur.
yeah, like Ben Hur, those sword and sandals
Yeah.
epics of the 50s, like
Yeah.
Ten
Oh yeah,
Commandments and
exactly.
movies like
And
that.
that he's kidnapped by communists, which I thought was hilarious.
That scene was so funny.
Like just that, I don't know, just the dialogue and just that like in general, because like the whole like I mean the title itself is Hell Caesar, and then the Roman motion picture epic kind of takes a backdrop to like everything that's happening, but I kind of see where it's like getting at, and I definitely understand the absurdist part of it, but just that like, and like I was just completely like, are we going into spoiler territory? Can we go into that with this movie?
I say so just because like
4 years old.
I don't know. Like to me, there's really not a lot to spoil. Like to me, this is like, and I know like a lot of people will be different, but I don't think I like a lot of this movie does not hinge on like any sort of twist or anything. So it's
Well, I'll just say spoiler warning. When Channing Tatum, okay, the Channing Tatum dance was amazing, and
yes,
uh, like they
I feel like if there's anything you watch from this movie, check out the Channing Tatum sailor dance sequence, because not only is it just like a really amazing, well choreographed dance that's very indicative of pageantry of the movies from the 1950s, but it's super funny and just like super on the nose, thickly laden, homoerotic.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's just like you said with that pageantry and stuff. It's just so funny that this is coming from a time when like there were a lot of homosexuals like being out. Like anybody that wasn't heterosexual was just like absurd, like unseen, unheard of, and like
They were
there,
blacklisted,
yeah.
similar
But
to the
then,
communists of the
but
time.
then you have movies like this or scenes like this, which a lot of them exist, where you have the characters singing, dancing. They're all male. It's just like, where's the orgy?
There's a lot of homoerotic attention, and sort of similar to that point. Not just the stuff with homosexuality, but like there's Scarlett Johansson's whole subplot where they're like trying to create this narrative for her so she's not this single mother. Really speaks to that time where they have to, and even now, like when you think your first image when you think of like 1940s 1950s is this very sanitized version of what actually happened, and this movie definitely takes lets you peek under the hood.
And I will say, to your point, basically, like keeping up these appearances, like finding these appearances for like a single mother. Even because I watched a movie called Hollywoodland, takes place in the same era, and about how even if it's a more or less an open secret about if this person was gay or they were like in a marriage of convenience or something, it's still important that they had like the trappings of a marriage, even if they weren't like committed to one partner. Or if the gay, that's where the term lavender wedding comes from this era, because like they would have these sort of gay men and women to have like a for show wedding to give the appearance for the studio, for the the overall audience, media that's like, oh, here we are halfway married as hetero normative marriage. And so like it is very interesting, sort of like the sort of the back end dealings to sort of keep up appearances and make sure everything gelled nicely for the studio. Back then, the studios had a lot more power, because today actors are very much more like highly paid freelancers, whereas back in the day, there's more or less hired and committed to certain studios.
Yeah, like you signed and I mean, this still work. They still do this from time to time, but where they'll sign multi-movie contracts. Like, and it wasn't even just actors; it was also directors. Like Hitchcock, famously, he had had to do this 10 movie deal with Paramount or something like that. I'm not too keen on the specifics, but yeah, and this is sort of like on the twilight of the Hollywood studio system, because around probably I'd say the mid to late 60s was when it collapsed for the most part.
It definitely like shows you kind of like what's behind all that glitz and glamour. And speaking of the Scarlett Johansson subplot, I did think it was funny when I didn't even know Jonah Hill was in this movie, but Jonah Hill's character is like essentially a hired scapegoat.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, if you killed someone, he'll take the fall for you.
There was a part in there where there was like an auto accident, but his name was on the insurance or ownership or whatever of the car, so he ended up going to jail for 6 months, and he's just so like monotone, like just focused on his work. He was just like, it's just part of the job, ma'am. Like, it was great. I love that. Oh, and then Channing Tatum, spoiler, he turns out to be a communist himself, and just that like he brings the pageantry into him being this communist agent, where like,
because he's more or less, because in this like cabal communistic Hollywood writers, he's sort of like their Ubermensch. He's like this end all be all. They're kind of focusing on that you will go to Russia and you will sort of become the perfect man for the glory of communism. And he still has this very like swishy like
swagger
to him. And also he has a little dog named Engel that he carries with him everywhere.
Yeah, and it literally took me like the entire movie to get that joke. I was like, fuck, they literally... I am stupid. They named that dog.
And like,
Eagles.
it was just such a great bit too, because he was gonna leave, because turns out there was a submarine really close to the to whatever coast in California, and it picked him up, and he was gonna literally leave his dog with the riders, and they gave him their ransom money to take back to the cause, and the dog, he's like, no, Ingalls, and then Ingalls jumps into his arms while he's on the ladder to the sub, and he drops the money in the ocean, and Ingalls, I guess, goes to Russia.
Yeah, and like the whole movie is centered around this suitcase full of money, and they make a big deal about it, and then
Falls
it
in
just
yep,
falls into the
gone
ocean, and it's
forever.
like, there's that. Yeah, and that's a big trope in Coen Brothers movies where like MacGuffins like that are deemed irrelevant, and it's tied back into their absurdist philosophy, and
Definitely, that is a recurring like theme with Coen Brothers, the old Shaggy Dog story, where the efforts of a cast or the characters is sort of more or less made moot by a revelation or a certain point at the end.
Yeah, and it's all like a giant metaphor for like the pointlessness of existence, or like there being no meaning in existence, and you basically giving existence the middle finger and living your best life anyway, type of thing.
Yeah, anti-nihilism.
Well, that sounds like
Yeah.
optimistic nihilism. I actually recently read a thing about that.
Well, I mean, it's absurdism.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it was Hail Caesar was a very good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's made me want to go back and watch some of the movies from them I haven't seen, because they've made a fuck ton of movies, but like especially a lot of movies of theirs I have seen, like The Big Lebowski and No Country for Old Men and Fargo. And God, I need to finish the show Fargo, because God, it's so
I've
good.
wanted to watch that show forever because I've heard some of the best lines I've ever heard in TV from Fargo.
Yeah.
And yeah, it makes me like, wow. Whew. Hail Caesar was actually my 29th movie of the year. I'm still on my 100 movie march. I have time, so I'll probably catch up to like, I don't know. I have so many movies to watch. I'll probably definitely hit. I'm confident I will hit my goal this year, and
Yeah, I'll probably hit 100 by, say, August. I'm at 60 now. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. God, I don't know how many I've seen. I haven't really
I've
been
been
keeping
watching
up
around
with it.
15 a month, so I've been doing good.
For me, Hail Caesar was my 36th movie of the year. I watched one yesterday and one today. I watched The Birdcage, the old Robin Williams, Nathan Lane movie where they're a gay couple and trying to appease their son's new in-laws. And the 37th Doraemon anime movie, which is about an earless robotic cat from the future trying to get his master as a young boy to sort of become who he will be in the future. And just it's an anime movie for very small children, but it's superbly animated, just lush and vibrant and fun. And then they make a movie for Doraemon literally every year.
I've always wanted to get into the anime, but it's not on anything at all in the U.S. That is, it's not easily accessible at all.
No, you definitely have to look around for it, but I loved it. It's a super fun movie. And plus, Doraemon's in a lot of ways is very reminiscent. Just to have like an example, like Mickey Mouse in Japan, like he's just like this culturally ubiquitous and recognizable character. And he was named to be Japan's anime ambassador.
oh wow,
Good, he deserves
that
it.
makes sense.
Him and that little kitty.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a series that's been consistently running since the 1970s. So, literally generations of children have grown up with him, and that's why they can continue to make it, because like Sesame Street, one set of children ages out, another children's growing into it. So like it's just this evergreen property for them, and it's a very well done movie. If you're able to find it, I would definitely give it a shot, even if it's for younger children, because it's just that well made.
Definitely have to give that a shot.
A few days ago, I don't remember exactly what day it was, but I had a movie night. I watched I Am Legend, a movie called Butt Crack, and Bong Joon-ho's Barking Dogs Never Bite. It was a rough night. It was a rough night to say the least. Because at first I watched I Am Legend, which it was as good as I remember it being, which is it's okay. It's a zombie movie.
Yeah, I just remember being very apathetic coming out of that movie.
I mean, it's got the most boring, ugliest zombies out of every single zombie thing.
Well, they're like zombie vampires or something like
Well,
that.
they're vampires, but they kind of twisted it in the movie to be more zombie-like.
Yeah, I mean they're basically zombies functionally.
All I know is I hated the main zombie's face so much. It was so ugly. I just wanted him to kill it so bad. But,
The what?
the main zombie thing.
Oh yeah.
The leader.
It was just an ugly,
Yeah.
bland-looking creature.
Yeah. Apparently there's a an alternate ending to the movie that was originally going to be the ending to the movie before the studio fucked with it. That apparently makes the movie better, but I can't remember what happens. I think the ending is much darker.
It's probably closer to the original story.
Yeah, it's closer to the source material.
I can't remember. Is I Am Legend, was that originally a book, or is it supposed to be?
Yeah, it was a book.
Okay, because I remember there was an older movie. I remember my dad showed it to me, called I Am Omega, which is kind of pretty much the same premise, but the creatures in it are a lot different. It's like I'm pretty sure it's I Am Omega. It's the creatures in there, they were still they were human, but like they were I think they were vampires because they couldn't go out in the sun, but they could still talk, think. They still have consciousness and had the ability to reason and stuff. And it was a whole lot different.
To round up I Am Legend, the scene where he is petting his dog and he chokes it to death because it's turning.
Yeah.
Good God, that scene is still as rough as I remember it being. Possibly worse. It's a rough scene.
It is.
After I finished watching I Am Legend, I was trying to look for like some kind of like garbage 80s horror or just old horror. But I said, you know what? I don't want to have fun. I want to watch a terrible student film from the 90s. And I watched a movie called Butt Crack, and it is so bad. It's only an hour long. It feels like 3 hours.
Does it live up to the title?
Yes, it really does. It's about a guy that annoys his roommate so much because his butt cracks out the whole movie. He's like, why is your butt crack out so much? You made my girlfriend throw up and she left. Bro, what the heck? You just totally butt crack blocked me, bro.
This isn't real.
It was... Alright, hold on. After he does the cock blocking so much, he says, I'm going to kill you. They kill him, and he gets brought to back with voodoo, and they all die in the end. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail. I told you the story. It's not
No,
good.
you're lying. That isn't the story. That's not the story. There's no
bad.
way.
Do not watch Butt
Tell
Crack.
me the real story of butt crack. I do not believe you.
That's it.
That's it. Oh man, that just reminds me of a movie I discovered at like 3 a.m. I haven't watched it yet, but it's a movie we need to watch together. It's called Butt Boy.
Oh yeah, when you sent that, I think this morning, I looked it up and it sounds interesting.
Yeah, apparently it is a film noir, like crime detective movie, played as straight as possible, where the serial killer has a compulsion to stick inanimate objects, animals, and people up his butt.
Now that sounds way more fun than Butt Crack. Also, another thing with Butt Crack, the main guy with the butt crack, all he does is stay home and play Atari. And he's like, I'm just going to stay inside and play Atari. It's so fun. No. And then the other guy that kills him, he's like, get with the times. Play a PlayStation. Because it was like 90-something when it came out.
Fuck.
Jesus fucking Christ. That sounds awful.
It is fucking terrible. But I did watch something that'll cheer me up. I was like, you know what? I want to watch a good movie. A Bong Joon-ho movie. I love Parasite. I'll probably love everything else he makes. I probably watched the worst movie he's ever made. It's his first movie he's ever made.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It's rough. Very, very rough. The movie starts off with a warning saying no dogs were harmed in the making of this movie. I call bullshit on that because there are some scenes that are very bad. Very, very bad. Let's just say a dog hanging over a pipe by its leash, and he's just holding it midair and it's swinging rapidly in the air. I don't know how you could fake that.
Well,
because that looked insanely real.
If that disclaimer's at the very beginning, I mean, they could lie, but like it has to be true because he could get because if that was put in there and he actually did harm animals, he would be in more than a lot of trouble.
I would just watch it because it's a Bong Joon-ho movie. And there are more scenes than just that. I don't want to say them all because I don't want to remember them all. They're bad. I don't like... The movie was okay. But let's just say the animal abuse, fictional if it is, it most likely is, it brought it down. It brought down my enjoyment.
It sounds like you had a pretty rough night.
Oh yeah, it was real bad. I didn't like that movie. 2.5 stars. That was my movie night. I watched I'm Legend, butt cracking that.
All right.
How the fuck did you find out about butt crack? Is my question.
I was just going through random movies. I was gonna watch the Toxic Avenger.
Oh yeah.
Because all those movies are on Prime, but I just kept clicking through random movies, and I found it eventually. I saw Butt Crack, thought, hey, this looks like it'd be fun. It's only an hour long, and it's some padding for my list. It was padding for my list, but it was not fun, and it felt like it was 2 hours long. Probably better when you watch it with a group of friends. But man,
you know what? Speaking, since we're still on movies, I decided because they released Underwater recently, and they announced, or for the trailers and stuff for its physical release and digital, it said it had an ending, and I was just completely like, really? Like that really surprised me, because me, Colt, and Pat all saw Underwater in theaters, and we were just all like, it's all right. Not even all. It was okay. And the ending was just as well, because I mean, can we? I know I keep.
I thought the ending was cool with the creature being cool, big creature.
Oh well, there we go. We'll get right into it. Spoilers. It was actually confirmed by the director himself that the creature at the end was Cthulhu. But the original ending was Kristen Stewart blowing up the underwater base and killing Cthulhu and all the other creatures, and
sacrificing herself in the process.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and no, Jessica Chenwick, her and the whatever guy, they end up surviving, but in the alternate ending, she blows it up, but instead of dying, she actually goes into one of the pods and escape, and that was it. That was the alternate ending, and it was just like, didn't make it any better or change anything.
Honestly, now that I've thought about it, it probably makes it worse, because at least in the original ending, you get to see a cool explosion.
It's not like the Get Out alternate ending.
No, I mean...
Oh, hold on. I haven't seen Get Out yet.
Oh, never mind. Fuck.
But
I'm one of the only person on Earth that haven't seen Get Out yet, so spare me.
It's not like... I do prefer the ending that is in the movie, but that alternate ending is rough.
Yeah, no, I mean, the alternate endings for that are, like, good. This literally doesn't do anything. Like, it's just like, all right, you made a...
I mean, if they did, what's that one annoying guy in the whole movie?
T.J. Miller.
T.J. Miller.
T.J. Miller. If they had a T.J. Miller execution scene, it would have been better.
I mean, he died. He still died.
I know, but they could have done it again.
Yeah, made it more beautiful. Because literally T.J. Miller dies by being pulled through his underwater suit and then blood, and that's it. Like, okay. He's gone now. Thank goodness.
Yeah, and they made him live way too long.
Really? I mean, yeah. That was ridiculous. Yeah. And, like, he was supposed to be the funny guy. Was not funny. Which is stupid. Like, it's just... Oh, my God. Sorry.
Was that movie filmed?
I'm just going to say one thing from the beginning of the movie. Him and another character, he brings up anime randomly, and another character's like, oh, you like anime? I love anime. And then just brushes over it like that. Never brought up again. And it took me out of the moment so hard.
It's like, why bring this up?
It was probably a riff, like they were kind of riffing in that moment, and they kind of like, well, that's in character, so they probably just kept it.
Yeah.
But like literally everything he said is just like, shut up. Because like I was expecting his character to last until like toward the end, but then like mercifully he's killed like before halfway.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with Underwater, like, yeah, it has some cool monsters when you could kind of barely make them out.
I mean, yeah, you could barely see them too. Oh my God. Like,
but what we did see with the whole like trying to sneak scene and the way she blows out the creature's back with that one gun, that was awesome. And when we got to see Cthulhu, the few little glimpses we saw was pretty awesome.
If we got more like Kristen Stewart being an actual badass like that, it would have probably made it such a better movie. But we didn't, which sucks.
Yeah, it's just a lot of nothing. It's like if the movie's about as slow as the water that they're plotting through.
Yeah,
wow.
exactly.
Yeah, because I did not see this movie, and it sounds like from y'all talking about it, I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Like, it's not bad.
It's not terrible.
It's just really
Mediocre.
not very substantive. Like, there's not a lot there to really kind of...
It's very disposable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool concepts. It's just none of them are really executed well. Like, there's a fucking Cthulhu monster and, like, all these little squid demons that live underwater. But, you know, they go for realism a little too and the wrong way, where it's like everything's murky and the water and the lights drown everything out. So you just see these kind of weird shapes, like you would see like the grainy footage from like one of these deep sea submersibles. So like, good on you for kind of getting that aspect of it. But you know, if your whole gimmick is a creature feature, but you can't see the creature,
like it can't even be a B tier monster movie. It's like it's very well
because you can't see the monster.
It's very well D tier, not even C. It's D. It's bad. It's just not bad.
Damn.
It's so disappointing. Whatever.
C minus.
Yeah, C minus.
It's just enough to pass.
I guess. I would spell him. William Eubank. I'm sorry. That was the director. I think that was his. I could be
first.
I think that's his first. I could be completely wrong, but you know.
Hey, it didn't have animal abuse.
I mean, it's not a horrible start, but you know, first one.
But also, Kristen Stewart was giving her best 2001 Chester Bennington cosplay.
that was true. Yeah.
That was true.
Wow.
That was my spiel on Underwater.
Yeah.
What, you have something to add?
I was going to just talk about how yesterday, thought about Itachi, because it was like early morning, and I was just thinking, man, that's rough, bud. Don't want to say spoilers, just saying that. That's rough, bud.
All right.
Man, I wish that didn't happen.
Yeah, I remember you got weirdly emotional over Itachi recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to start to continue where I left off on Boruto. It's not bad. It's just very slow, and I want more classic characters' interactions with Boruto. I don't want to see this ugly tape-wearing creature.
One last point. Speaking of Naruto, I had a very shocking moment on my timeline the other day. One of my mutuals, they tend to retweet some NSFW stuff from time to time, and they retweeted like this whole like porn scene basically. And so I'm just going through my timeline, seeing art, Animal Crossing stuff, and just smack in the middle is like another dude pounding another dude in the ass. I'm like, what the fuck is that? But the thing is, what threw me even more is that the guy that's doing the pounding, he has a full-length Sasuke tattoo on his right arm, and I'm like, to the point to where I'm not even focused on this other guy getting just railed in the ass. There's just a guy with a straight up like from the manga tattoo of Sasuke. I'm like,
that's awesome.
Somehow that's more jarring than
than this guy getting pounded.
That's the most badass scene I've ever heard of, if you ask me.
Yeah, man.
I'm just imagining that the guy that's getting pounded, he just turns back and it's like, oh man, this is so good, and then he looks back, Naruto, and then they just wistfully remember, they tell they see the little kids around them. It's like, that's how I met your grampy.
Why would they just meet in that situation, Pat? That doesn't make sense.
Because I'm thinking of an old man with a Sasuke tattoo holding hands with his husband who has a Naruto tattoo on the other arm.
I thought you mean they just like had they were consensual, of course, and they just had bags over their heads and they just yanked them off and they're like, oh.
What the fuck?
It's like a mystery box.
Okay. Speaking of dick and balls, recently to kind of a way for me to vent and to like kind of get this to vent about.
I swear to God,
to vent, you know, like about like what's going on and stuff. I've just been like doing these doodles and sketches in my sketchbook. One of the things that it's just kind of like a little inside. I don't know why it's like an inside joke and it's just so funny to me. But like I just got this idea, like, man, what if I just drew a body horror praying mantis man, but like instead of a thorax, it's just a huge dick and just balls hanging, and that's what I did.
Yeah, you fucking
and
did.
I like.
Yeah, and then when he showed us, he was like, I don't know if you can tell, but that's a dick and balls, and we were like, Wenzel. We knew.
But what's so funny though is that people don't understand is that like I only like draw like dick and balls like when I'm with you guys.
It's just a gang thing.
it's a gang thing, and it's like I never post or do anything like that because I just don't want to, and like, but like that's just like the first time, like an inside gang joke is actually public.
Yeah, somehow I'm not convinced because you draw more cock and balls than any straight man I've ever met.
And not only that, just the detail you put into those dicks.
He's got to make an imprint. He's got to make a mark.
And the thing, like, but I mean, it's true though, because like
And I mean, there is a variety
go
too.
through
It's
literally
not the
all
same
of my
dick
social
every
media, and
time.
you'll never find any art, dick and balls, never, except for now, because I
Just
don't.
wait 50 years to when I release the stuff you wrote for me in middle school and high school.
That's,
But I'll definitely remove a lot of that.
oh god, yeah, that's some great stuff.
Well, I think that's a nice bookend. We started with Dick and Balls, unfortunately, and that's how it ends. So thank you all for listening to our 3-year extravaganza.
Woo!
3 years of cum and piss and shit and dick and balls. And for better or for worse, that's where we are. That's where I guess we'll continue to be. So thank you all so much for listening today. You can follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at AYCH Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook and a letterbox at AllYouCanHear. You can follow us on YouTube and Twitch at AllYouCanHear. And be sure to like, rate, review, subscribe on all those platforms. That really helps us out, really spreads us around, and lets more people listen to us, for better or for worse. And you can follow me, Patrick, on Twitter and Instagram at John Lawson's Name. You can follow my art on Facebook at John Lawson's Name Art.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at JNIIBOI24 and Letterboxd at JohnUnson12.
My name's Colt. Follow me on Twitter at ColtD00. Do some kick flips. Do some ollies. Do some backflipperoos. Just don't go outside.
Thank you for listening. I'm Wenzel. You can follow me on Twitter at WenzelBooking. You can follow my art Instagram at WhatAWenzy. Read, watch a movie, watch a show, play video games, do something inside to keep you occupied. Have fun.
Stay the fuck home.
Yes.
Take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.